Nobody. Even that chickie with the hot boom booms that you think is just amazing. She's not perfect either. Not human. Hey, there they are. There they are.
Hello.
Ah, that's
Ah,
scary. Ah,
what's scary?
ugly people. Oh, it's
What?
us. It's
What's
us. Never
scary?
mind. It's us.
Oh,
It's
oh,
us.
dang. We're ugly?
I happen to really like the ladies, and I find neither of us over aesthetically pleasing, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm a little buggy
Good
eyed.
morning, everyone. You're a little buggy eyes, as
I'm a
she
little
said.
buggy eyed when I take the classes. It depends on how I wake up. If I wash my face, then we're good. But like, not today.
Not today.
We woke
Not
up like 15
today.
minutes ago. So, woke up and was like, oh snap!
Man, I have a beautiful
It's
picture over
afternoon.
here. Over here, it's kind of shiny and
Oh,
look at how clear and beautiful that
press
is. And then
down
I
there.
come over here and I'm like, oh,
What to Facebook?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. For those of you that can't tell, we just woke up.
we did. We did. We did.
Our good friend Ross had some phone calls to make in the evening, morning, all night.
Yeah.
I just have had overwhelming exhaustion lately for no apparent reason. Like I mean, I didn't go to bed late. Awful.
Which is actually like normal because that's a fair amount of sleep to get around.
Around there.
Yeah.
We were talking about waking up, and then we were talking about yesterday.
Mhm.
Opening your eyes and seeing the world. It's not as easy as it sounds. Your perspective is designed to focus on you because you're with you 24 hours a day. No one else is, by the way. No one saw you pick your nose and eat that book. I swear. Um, it's not easy. Like we were talking about how we'll try to do something and we don't always get it right the first time. And whether or not you throw in the towel and keep working at it, or whether or not you go, reality is you're not perfect. We all carry, oh, I made this mistake, I made that mistake, I made this mistake. You don't have to carry them if it changes. Like if you learn from it, if you go, oh, wow, okay, I was working on that, I'm getting better at that.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is perfected in a single moment, but everything is done in a single moment. All you can do is try. That's waking up. That's going, oh, damn. There's more here than just me. It's an awareness. It's because when we're little, all we have is us. Not to say we don't have parents and all of that and whatever combination of people supporting us, but literally all we know is our view of the world. Growing up is realizing your view isn't the only view of the world. And how do you move through it compassionately with these other people reacting to different things that might be different things than you? It's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
That there's a bit to waking up in the morning. Oh, you're very quiet. Talk to me.
Um, um,
No, just give me thoughts.
I have a hard time with the whole waking up thing.
No.
Not just actually, but like also
Both
metaphorically.
figuratively and metaphorically. All
Yeah,
right, okay.
because like if I had to keep going with the metaphor, I would say that my choice when confronted with an alarm
Mm-hmm.
is to go back to sleep, straight back into the nightmare, straight back into it. I don't want to wake up and face reality. So I would say the actual version of that is that usually when someone tells me something that I did,
Mm-hmm.
I immediately like my inner dialogue is back to being terrible. It's back to being
How do you
a
make it?
terrible person, blah 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 blah. Just insult, insult, insult. And
How do you make it?
I'm constantly trying to like express that I'm telling myself terrible thoughts, but I'm also trying not to make the person feel bad for telling me something
How
that
do you-
made them feel bad.
How do
If
you
that made sense.
how do you turn your inner dialogue into informative instead of self-abusive? How do you wake up to the point of I'm human? Okay, so what you're dealing with is I feel bad because other people are human and they feel things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're human and you feel things. Wait a minute, I have an idea here.
Mm-hmm.
You're forgiving them for being human and feeling things, right? Like, oh wow, you know what? I didn't mean to do that, or whatever, whatever the combination.
Yeah.
You know what? That wasn't my intention.
I get what you're saying.
Intention's huge. Intention gives you the no. Intention gives you the possibility of trying to do something good but failing.
For some reason, anytime I say that, it ends up feeling like I'm dismissing what they said. Like anytime, like so.
Well, that's because you have to add. You know what? I was trying. I'm sorry I didn't get it quick. I'm working on that. You matter to me.
Yeah.
You can even literally say those words to people. I say those things to you. I try to. We had fights. For those of you that don't know, well, we're human. We are human. Wake up to the fact. When you get up in the morning,
Mhm.
don't get up and go, I am Superman. You go, I'm Ross. That's pretty super. And I'm working at being Ross. I'm working at being Matt, actually. I'm not really working. I don't have the hair. I just don't. I would be Ross if I could, man. I love that hair. I want that hair. I'd be a Rasta man. I'd be a Rasta man straight
There's
from the
like strays
Caribbean.
everywhere. But
Huh?
I said it's all over the place. There's like strays everywhere and shit. It's funny.
But that's. Look at your thought process. I never even thought about that. They'll just have like, yep, there's. It's like your thoughts are going out of your head and they're all over the place and they're going against each other. And sometimes you unravel them a little bit. Sometimes you pull them out of hair. And
Mm-hmm.
we hold ourselves, and we've talked about this over and over again, to icons. I can never be as good as MLK, Thor.
I don't imagine myself living the life it's
No.
so I
Well,
I
it's gonna
can't
be.
even.
It's gonna be
That's not
your.
my bar, you know.
But it's your life and your story. No, I don't mean bar
Yeah.
like that. I mean that's why. Because when you see that bar, you see that not as a real person.
Mm.
Oh my God, look at that! I could never be like that.
Mm.
But that wasn't even the point.
I don't actually. I would say that I don't actually compare myself to
No, I'm not.
people
I'm not suggesting comparison.
grander than me often. I normally like I compare myself to myself and then attack myself about how I used to be better at this or
But
maybe I could be better at this or
But either way, in your head, there are a bunch of bars you've decided you're not getting to.
yes.
Doesn't matter what you call the bars. Doesn't matter whether they're related. MLK is just a quick pull out of an iconic person. We build up impossibilities. We build up people as more than human and forget that we are. Instead of waking up to the idea that we're human, we're going to make mistakes. Oh, and we're going to learn from them. That's the big step. The step is not. Mistakes are guaranteed. If you decide to beat yourself up royally for every mistake you make, as opposed to the important part of learning from the mistake. A lot of people spend so much time beating themselves up. None of that serves a purpose without, if it's meaningful, if it turns into something else. Like, so when I look back at my life, the big wake up moment was looking back at it making sense. You know, and there's some nasty bits in there. There's some bits that, yeah, trust me. Don't get me wrong, there's some great bits, man. Oof. I did some things, but I did some things. And you're 18 and feeling like you're not getting it perfect. Have you gotten arrested today? Have you had to call your mom for bail? Have you sold acid to an undercover narcotics agent lately?
No, I don't think so.
Are you waiting to see when you're going into prison?
No.
See, you're doing it much better than I did. You're already ahead of the game, dude. The problem is you keep beating yourself up based on a lesson that's based on a 50-year-old guy sitting across from you. You're right, I notice things. I notice more things than you notice, and I conversate with you about them, which leads to self-abuse on your part. When all I'm trying to share is, oh, here are these lessons. No judgment.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to keep doing this to myself because I did the same thing last night. Because I I was in a conversation and I said something that hurt somebody, and then I like my thoughts were all hurting myself for hurting that person. So then it felt I tried my best to like one apologize
Okay.
and two explain that like my head is really messing with me right now. And
I know that.
I don't want you to think that you can't come to me and tell me when I messed up. But my head is really messing with me and I'm having a hard time dealing with it. Like um
You're having a hard time waking up
yeah.
to the fact that Ross is human. It's one of the hardest things we accept. But I'm telling you, I've said this before, one of the ways we mislead our children, we don't do it on purpose. There's no animus, there's no animosity, it's not, we're not ready as we grow up for the idea that you're making it up every day and you'll have to make it up again tomorrow and you're human.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make mistakes. We hold ourselves to a pattern that is based on perfection instead of on learning.
Mm-hmm.
We do a disservice in our education process that hey, we're going to teach you the answers. No, the only thing we should try to teach children, not really, but is how to learn.
I think they try to teach us.
They teach you it's okay to be wrong, because that's the most important thing for children to learn. That it's okay to say I don't know. We don't teach them that. We don't teach you that.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know is actually the resting spot.
I definitely think school is way too competitive.
It's based on getting raises, based
Well,
on business,
it makes the
not
smart
based on education.
it makes the smart kids grow a chip on their shoulder, and it makes the dumb kids really feel terrible. Not to say that there are
Did you
dumb
know what?
kids. I don't want to say that there are smart kids and dumb kids. I just mean in the context of a classroom. Because some of those kids, you put them out in the real world, and they'll do better than a lot of other people.
I'm telling you, amongst those straight A students, they felt all those things you were dealing with. Those were people I hung out with. And they felt the reason they were getting straight A's was because they felt that pressure 10 times as much. Not because it felt good to be getting straight A's.
I felt worse when I would get, like, it depended on the classroom I was in. Because, like, there was a time earlier when I had other smart kids. My best friend was the smartest kid in the class.
Mm-hmm.
And the other kid, we were all in competition to see who could get the best grade on the test. And
Right.
it felt good, right? And then when I got a little older, the other classrooms, it felt like I wanted to hide my test grades because I didn't want anybody to know that I was a smart kid. I wanted everybody to look at me as the kid who made people laugh and was entertaining and was interesting. I didn't want to be the smart kid. I wanted something different.
Oh, I was the weirdest of things. I went to a private school, so
Mhm.
a smart kid was kind of the norm.
Right.
I was the smart kid that didn't care. And so actually,
Me too, pretty much.
the kids that were my friends that were getting straight A's were irritated with the fact that I wasn't trying.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers were irritated with the fact, oh, you're obviously, that isn't how it felt.
You don't know how many times I got the conversation of, you have so much potential.
Oh, God.
If you just
I'm gonna tell you something. Everybody has so much potential.
I'm
Wake
like, come
up.
on, man.
Well, no, wake up.
Like,
See, but that's my point.
dude.
That the reality is we're wasting potential. Everybody has potential. But they have the potential to get it wrong. They have the potential to get it right. There's no right and wrong. There's just lesson. But anyways, that it's whether or not you're using your AK, ambient knowledge, for those of you not keeping up, paying attention to the room, being present.
I will say my wish to be the dumb kid eventually caught up to me, like later in high school. Because there was a time where I was very much ahead of my classroom. I just acted like I wasn't in class,
Right.
and then and then there was a switch when suddenly everybody cared about actually paying attention in class, and I still didn't, and I actually fell behind.
Well, what happens is it was easy.
Yeah, it was easy until it wasn't.
Well, and a lot of really smart kids never pick up the habits because what happens is about midway through high school, all of a sudden,
Yeah, it's a switch.
it's a switch.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And it was like
I wasn't ready for AP Chem, guys. Sorry.
usually freshman year you're just trying to get your bearings, you're trying to figure it out. Sophomore year, you're a little bit more social. Junior year, you either buckle down like crazy or you get really, really social. And then senior year it is what it is.
I just went to work. I didn't do social or school. I went to work.
Really?
I got a job at a pet store as
Okay.
soon as I turned 16.
Okay.
Spent a year working at that pet store. Got
So
fired.
you just went through school just chilling
At
to some extent.
a college preparatory all boys school, though. So, I mean, I had to write 10-page papers on every class in senior year had at least one 10-page paper because that was how you were cool.
Yeah.
So there were weeks of just writing paper after paper. But I got an amazing education. I'm very fortunate. Yo, say Chucks if you're out there.
I didn't
That
I didn't I didn't get into the college program as early as I could have, mostly because my grades were more focused, like I was more focused on getting C's than I was A's. And the only reason was because I realized I didn't want to put in that much work. I didn't feel like it. It felt like too much. I knew what they were talking about, and I felt like, okay, if I get a C, but I aced the test, I'll get out fine.
said I didn't put that
I'll
much
make
thought
out
into
fine.
it.
That was my thought. Like I constantly had this thought, so I just put in C level work until it was time for the test or the project or the actual important grade, and then I went crazy, and then
Well, it's time to wake up. You're out of school now. It's time for the important grades. That's the hard part. They act like, oh, by the way, we're going to let you know when the pop quizzes are. No, life isn't like that. That's why there's pop quizzes, because they're trying to teach you, oh, you never know any day. Better wake up. Better wake up.
did it.
Better see where you are.
Mhm.
See the people where you are. And, most importantly, see yourself as human.
Mhm.
We beat ourselves endlessly up for being human.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I'm human. Guess what? The natural setting for human is selfish.
Mhm.
Really. You're trying to remember to overcome something to make a new habit.
Mhm.
Because as a baby, you don't know anything but you.
Mhm.
That's why if you play the peekaboo game, people entirely disappear. You can't see them. It's like your world is just all that exists.
Mhm.
You're growing into a world where you're not all that exists.
Yeah, when I do that, it's like, of course, he's just losing it.
What? But that's what he's going through. The only perspective he even recognizes right now is his, rightfully. But we have trouble accepting and coming to terms with, ooh, where our path crossed, there's light. Okay, so one of my big things I'll say to people is, aha, we all have to walk our path alone, man, and Opportunity arises where our path crosses, and you're like, oh, good things. Opportunity doesn't mean good things. It means
Opportunity means
the possibility of things.
Two of you have to buckle down and actually figure it out.
It can be scratchy. It can be itchy. It can be crusty.
Yes, it can be cumbersome.
It can be all of the cartoon characters that play cartoon characters on The Simpsons.
I thought you were gonna say squanchy.
I said it could be itchy, scratchy, and crusty. Krusty the Clown, Itchy and Scratchy are the mouse and the cat.
Okay.
And then, Krusty the Clown.
Okay.
My Simpsons reference of the year.
Yeah, I don't catch on to Simpsons references.
Wow. It's amazing that you didn't catch any of it. It's been around the entire time you've been alive.
Yeah. I watched it sometimes, but like, I don't know. I was more of a cartoon person. I mean, like the Simpsons cartoons. Yeah, I know that didn't make sense.
I think The Simpsons are a cartoon.
We
may need to talk to Ross about his reality.
Okay, I thought of it as an adult cartoon, and most of the jokes didn't make sense to me, so I would watch something else.
I get you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of callbacks, but I don't watch it either.
Mm.
The best is this is just my ambient knowledge is brother.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be picking up stuff from like commercials.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Butterfinger commercials and stuff.
Oh God, the Disaster Man or whatever his name is.
No, Bart Simpson did Butterfinger commercial.
Really?
Yeah. Cowabunga, dude.
That's funny. The show gets paid for for one of their characters making an appearance in a commercial.
Mouse been making money a lot of years, bro. I'm just saying. I think they own The Simpsons now too.
I think
the mouse owns Bart.
Yeah, they own a lot of stuff.
For the record, I can't think of his name all of a sudden.
Think of it, Disney probably owns it.
The guy
that played Bart.
No, the guy that came up with The Simpsons. And
I know who you're talking about. He died, didn't he?
No, it's a different guy.
Oh, I'm thinking about the guy who makes SpongeBob. Never mind.
Oh, there was one of the guys that came up with The Simpsons. This is a very convoluted conversation. We're going to get off The Simpsons. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Well, wake up to the idea that you're human. It sounds crazy, but in working on forgiving yourself for your humanity, for these things that you're beating yourself up for, finding that inner peace makes you more forgiving of all the people around you and makes it so you can pay more attention. Because what happens is when you come to terms with it's okay that you're not perfect, it's okay other people aren't perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm going to do the best I can today, and I'm going to do the best I can the next day. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be present. The most valuable thing that you can give to anybody is to be present with them in a moment. That means paying attention beyond yourself, partially because yourself can be a little convoluted at times and all over the place. I found, so I talk a lot about trying to meet the world compassionately. And the first thing I had to do was be grateful for my place in the world. That I had to learn, as hard as everything has been along the way, to have gratitude for where it has brought me, if that makes sense. Without all of that crap in your head, about all the things that you have a list of that were bad, you don't end up here. I don't end up here somehow. You know, I get it all together and I go to college at 18. I don't know my daughter. I don't know the pain of losing my son last week. But I'm not here. Were there different decisions I could have made? Yeah, but I can't make those decisions. Those are gone. I can be here and learn from the fact that I'm human, from the fact that you're human, from the fact that everyone is human. And I can try and see that. I can try and forgive that of myself. And once it's that namaste thing, it's the idea that, yep, man, I got bruises. This is a trudge. And I see your bruises. I don't want to beat you up about your bruises. I want to say I see your bruises and I see your struggle. Not with judgment, with love and compassion as somebody else going through the same journey. Not the same way, not the same path, but walking the walk. We woke up today. We're here. You're here. Is any day perfect? Fritz Lieber all day long, baby.
We could all be in the Matrix, man.
The original book was You're All Alone by Fritz Lieber. I want to say Fritz Lieber. God, I hope I got that right.
Is that the book they based
Book The Matrix. Yeah, there's a copy of it sitting over there. We have a variety of this is what this is based on. That I grew up in a house full of science fiction and dreams, with always a look to the future, a sense of amazement. We get so busy beating ourselves up for our imperfections that we miss the amazement. We miss the oh wow. That we kind of wander through our life half asleep, browbeating ourselves with our eyes half closed, not seeing how amazing it really is. Not waking up to how amazing you are because you're so busy. I didn't do that right, I didn't do this right, I didn't do that right, I didn't do this right. Okay, you learn from that. Not a weight to carry. You can't. There's actually no handles there for you either, but you're carrying it around. So we slap it on ourselves like an armor that makes it so we can't even deal with the rest of the world. You know, I'll carry my, not victimhood. We do that though. We make ourselves victims of our own, victims of ourselves. You know, not like, oh, the world's out to get me. No, I'm out to get me. All day long. Me too. I'm human.
There's a reason why I really, really, really want to get that phone. It's because there's a song that I made that I can't remember how to remake it, but one of the lines I said, I hate me more than you ever could.
I think we all feel that on some level. I think that's normal.
That's why I really want to get it, because when I rapped it for my friend, he was like, dude, like what you were talking about was cool, but like that line, I felt that in my soul.
It resonates with people. Okay, because here's what happens. We all live in our own world, so
Yeah.
It's great to be the star of your movie. Okay,
Yeah.
It's great, except for one thing. Ain't nobody watching your movie, and then you feel
Very
that.
true. Very true.
I'm the center of the world.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That's going to break your heart over and over again. You're going to beat on your own ass, going, why didn't I do more?
Well,
Why
no.
didn't, okay,
Mhm.
but the back here, why didn't I do more, is worthless.
One of the illusions that the internet provides is that you are the star of your own movie. But it's an illusion. The thing is, it's an illusion. If you ever notice, like
Instagram pretty, baby.
celebrities will get so much love, and then as soon as they do something wrong and they start getting hate, they forget about the fact that these are people. It's not like these are you. They're not gonna love you all the time. They're not gonna respect you all the time.
If you live on the teat of society and hoping that how you're going to sustain yourself is the love of others, you are going to find yourself lost and unloved, because that's how it happens.
That's something
That they're not as attached to you as you think.
I want to say that that's something that a villain would say. I suckle from the teat of society.
But And on the day you're not the puppy they want, and they pull you off, and you're like, "Where's my tea?" Well, but
Yeah.
if your self value isn't set by you, ooh, watch that roller coaster.
Yeah.
If you value yourself as a being, not as a superhero, not as a human, like you wake up to the idea, I'm human. I'm going to do the best I can today. Perfect isn't see, perfect isn't the goal. But that we all set ourselves this endless judgment. Don't get me wrong. The only person you have a right to judge is you. I can talk to people about how things make me feel. I can try and communicate with them. I can't judge them. I don't know your perspective. I don't know the world you're looking out from. Now, my reaction has been when I realized that I couldn't trust my perspective. Your perspective lies to you. Every scientific fact shows that your perspective lies to you. Every study shows that your ability to remember things is clouded by your brain's desire to make it fit the story you have created for yourself.
That's part of the reason why it's so easy for me to place value on the things other people say. Because I've never really been able to trust my own perspective.
But you have to learn how to trust your perspective. Value other perspectives. You have to learn to value all perspectives. That's the answer. I got the answer. I got it. I got it. I got the answer. It came to me like, blink. Yes. It's not wrong to value other people's perspectives. But the thing you're trying to learn how to do is to value all perspectives, and the one that we struggle with the most, meshing it with the others. Ours. Your perspective had, okay, so if you look out at the world and you go, you know what? The way other people see the world, that perspective has value to me. It allows me to see things in a different way. Now, if your perspective just gets added to that mix instead of it's higher or lower, suddenly you're seeing more of the world. But you can't deny your perspective. Even though you don't trust it.
Right.
You can't trust it.
Right.
Because you're human.
Unfortunately.
No, we're going to
I want
paint.
to be a vampire. I'm just playing.
I hired a really pale guy to bite my brother. And then I started slipping him.
Oh my god.
And then I started giving him a little Molly every night in his drink so that
he would love the nighttime.
He would be tired in the morning and love the nighttime. Exactly. He's convinced he's a vampire. He bit my dad.
That's
that was an SNL skit for those of you that my brother never bit my dad. Oh.
Oh my god. That's top tier prank right there.
But it is waking up to the possibilities. It's playing with perspective. Perspective is everything. So the brother gets stuck with the pale dude that bites him and he ends up thinking he's a vampire. Perspective. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up today to being you. And it being great being you. Not because it's perfect. But because you have the chance of doing it better today. Every day has the potential. Every day is a great day. It's whether or not you notice it. There's always good in the day. I know. But there's always the day the sun came up. You know, the sun did its job. The day is doing what it's supposed to do. That's all it does.
Sounds like
I can't do it. It sounded.
Just make out with the.
Good. Now, I have a question. Is Ms. Pac-Man really Pac-Man's wife, or is it Pac-Man cross-dressing with a bow?
Pac-Man with a bow. He did that so he could.
It's Pac-Man with a bow.
He did a whole thing where he decided to be two people, so he just went to the bathroom, put a bow on, then came back out, and then said, "Hey, Pac-Man's in the bath."
Pac-Man's in the bathroom.
And then he went back in, and then came out as Pac-Man. I was like, now she's in the bathroom.
He woke up to potential. Okay, let me make it fit.
Right? He was like,
Pac-Man.
makes myself.
Let's talk about ghosts. Inky, Blinky. What do you think?
What are you thinking?
So the reality is, you're a great guy not because you're perfect. You're a great guy because you're you. And the thing you're most uncomfortable with is the fact that you're you, and then it ends up in a struggle. Because you're fighting for you to exist in a world where you already exist. You already have value. Not because you're perfect, but because you're Ross. That my joy. It's spiritual for a minute, folks. Sorry. I see God or the Buddha or the universe, whatever you call it, in all living things. I see their potential.
That
I look on you with amazement.
that thought you were talking about, that scares me.
Which one? Say it.
That I'm like present in the universe and that I'm like part of it. That for some reason, that thought makes me think that I'm believing myself to be above it.
No.
Like it makes me think that I'm
My point was
overestimating my place.
No. My point is waking up to the fact you're human. You have amazing potential and you are great. I don't think that's singular to you. That isn't, I'm not sharing just something with Ross. Don't get me wrong, Ross is special because he's Ross.
What I'm saying is when I tell myself those things, it ends up feeling like that's the way that ends up feeling. It ends up feeling like I'm overestimating myself or I'm feeling too good about myself.
No, in this case, we're accepting that we're human.
Mm.
No, I'm not. See, you're missing the important part there. Wake up to the fact that you're not perfect. You've got great and perfect connected. You're great because you're great. You're not perfect because you're great. The reality is the way humans discover things is we do stupid stuff. And then we learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes us so powerful as a self-training supercomputer. I've always said, you know what? If the aliens were trying to build a self-replicating carbon-based supercomputer, there's no better version I've seen than humanity. Other than the fact that obviously our computer doesn't work and we think crazy stuff. But what it does is it evolutionarily throws spaghetti at the wall. That's what we're designed to do. We're just like a virus. We're just like COVID.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get through? If you give us a problem, man, we're better at it than COVID. We'll figure out an answer. You know, we're great rats. You know, if you give us an electric plate and a plate of cheese, we're going to figure out how to not get shocked and we're going to figure out how not to get the cheese. Look at our tax system. We're great at finding loopholes. No, but it's true. This is our basis for humanity. But now picture us. Let's talk about the logarithms at Facebook. Their goal was to, you know, how do I make it so people watch more?
Mm-hmm.
We work the same way. Endlessly. We are like endless little supercomputers trying to make effects.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the craziest part of it, the trying new things, boop, 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 boop. Let's try a little chemistry experiment. Our evolution is constantly doing that. I think there's a great deal of evolution going on now, but it's not physical, so we're not noticing it. I think that autism is a direction, not like it's a pros and cons, not a just, oh, look at this horrible thing that happened.
Mm-hmm.
that as we are overwhelmed by the amount of information coming in, the line between, I believe, genius and autism, and I think they're all, I think that's the same spectrum. And that doesn't mean that people, and it can happen in a million different ways along there, that there's.
Well, I was watching this, reaction to, like, these kids talking to each other. It was like middle schoolers.
Mhm.
And they were like talking about, they were like, hey, do these middle schoolers seem like a little bit mature to you? Like, they're talking to each other like how college students used to talk to each other when I was growing up. Like,
Well, I mean,
and it was
admittedly,
just interesting looking at it, looking at the
we
the
are
way
not aware of the fact that the last 2 years has aged our children greatly.
oh yeah, definitely.
That there's a different outlook. And I'm telling you, unfortunately, what we took from it instead of our country, we're in the United States, instead of giving our children a feeling of, oh, wow, we're banding together. The problem we're overcoming as a country, it has been divisive. It has sent a message of, do people care about each other instead of people care about each other. A religious majority backed a decision that was based on a desire for money over the well-being of others.
It seems to me like every like say like 10 years. I don't know what the actual timing on it is, but it seems to me like there's always an event that makes the kids of that time have to grow up quickly. Like for example, World War II, or maybe like the Civil Rights Movement. Like I don't know why. Like it just seems to me that way. I don't know if that's
I think
accurate at
Well,
all, but
I think we are all affected by the times we live in.
yeah, exactly. Like it seems like the times we live in, there's constantly something pushing the envelope.
Well, yeah, no, I don't.
Kids need to grow up and stuff.
Well, I think there's an endless thing that happens. So I was trying to relate that to my life. My life is we've got the Cold War as I'm growing up, but that's not as significantly. I mean, yeah,
There was some wars in between the Cold War.
no, there's not a ton of wars in my time.
There was two, I think. Right? The major ones that I remember.
Which major ones do you
in
remember?
history class. Um,
In my lifetime, I was born in '71.
that's a good point.
I was referring to my experience. You were correcting me to let me know which wars I lived through, and I was like, I don't remember Vietnam, though technically I was alive during the end of that.
Yeah, but I don't think you would have. Yeah.
Not really memorable to me. I remember Jimmy Carter getting elected. I remember Reagan getting elected. That the funny thing about Reagan, and I know currently it's hip to either hate or love Reagan, one or the other. He was human.
I have no clue. I feel.
But the difference, one of the things, was that was back when we were still doing the way presidents tended to get elected was by let me unite everybody. We're in this together, and a lot of it doesn't feel like that currently. That it doesn't take into consideration the other people across the aisle are humans trying to get it right too. That the breakdown in our democratic system is that our politicians don't treat us like we're human and don't treat each other like they're human.
That is very true.
And they treat themselves like they're perfect instead of like they're imperfect. And the most important thing in realizing you're great is realizing that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't define you. Guess what? Everybody's great at something. Everybody has their something. Just because you're great at something doesn't mean you're greater than other people.
When I was a little kid and I planned on running for president when I was older, I had a whole list of jobs I was gonna go through planned out when I was a little kid. Like I was gonna become a lawyer and then
But here's the
judge.
thing. No,
and
here's the secret.
Like, a politician and then a president. Like I didn't all planned out.
But if you don't do that, you don't get there.
The funny part
Go look at people that become presidents, and yes, they played that game all the way through, and they had to be the center of their own world. There's a level of narcissism required to become a successful politician that causes them to not be a valid choice to be a politician.
My thought was, I want to go up there and be like, listen, I don't know much, but I know that when I look at the TV and I flip back and forth between the Democratic and the Republican debates, every once in a while someone says something smart. and someone says something that there's a nugget of truth in, and someone says something that I can relate to. So, I feel like somewhere in the middle, there's got to be answers to the questions we ask.
Well, okay.
So,
I'll
I'm going to take a little bit of this and a little bit of that if you elect me.
let me solve the America's
And-
problems today.
And I'm going to get some experts that know more about this stuff than me.
A
and-
third party in the middle can control it.
What do you mean?
Well, if an active third party controlled 10 to 20 seats in both places,
Yeah, exactly.
then they're the deciding factor.
Exactly, yeah.
And I don't and literally that is the threat of the Republicans and the Democrats to keep anything else down.
Yes.
To not see other people as people,
Yeah.
to see them as threats. Other people aren't threats to you; they're great too, but they're human. See them.
No, it's funny because sometimes I'll watch left leaning and right leaning stuff, and they'll both like crap on the idea of a third party, and I'm like, y'all don't even realize that's the answer for you. Like
No,
y'all
no.
are fighting against it just so you can keep the status quo up, but like
No,
that's really the answer
but-
though.
No, it's not an answer.
And at least in my head.
Yes, but that's good for the people, not them.
Yes.
That's why it's not the answer for them. Because then they're not in power. Right now, they have a poison pill agreement.
Yes. They have
Any group that comes up that looks like it could end up controlling the middle, one of them
they
has
both
to
poop
swallow.
on it.
No, one of them has to swallow.
Oh, one of them has to.
Yeah, you have to.
Mm.
Occupy Wall Street, Democrats.
My real plan is to get so rich that I can do my own debates. I'll debate scholars and stuff, and then I'll get it on TV. That's what I'll do.
My
I'll do
big
it that
thing
way.
is, and I'm working on this. I'm trying to create a global discourse, a discussion amongst real people about being real people and caring about other people. That, yay, 600 members this week. Yes.
In the studio.
No. That's the Universal Sangha side.
Okay.
The Universal Sangha. Om Mani Padme
That
Hum.
reminds me of the love poem from South Park.
Universal Sangha coming to.
Oh,
take
no.
you away.
I can't say that joke, but I'll tell you later. It's funny.
The point is, in waking up to you being human, you get to not beat yourself up. You get to learn from what happened yesterday instead of carrying it. Yes, I was human yesterday. Yes, I am human right here. So what I can do is do better today. That's all I can do. That what people really notice after conversations is whether or not there's change. Whether or not something really has value to people isn't in whether or not they have great words. It's, yes, I make a point of saying sorry and thank you whenever I feel it, partially to remind myself that I say sorry for things a lot. I don't feel bad about it. For those of you that taught me not to say sorry, I'm sorry. Get over it. That for me, admitting it's me admitting I'm not perfect. Let me work on that.
Never apologize.
But that's not real. The first thing I know is anybody that's sure they're perfect or acts like they're puffing their perfectness, they're lying to me. No, I know that's not what they're feeling. We perceive that Facebook world, and we go, look, everybody else is happy. Everybody else is hiding behind a mask just like you. We just are putting on a show about not putting on a show. And so on a day when we can't wake up.
For some reason, Facebook and Twitter, like social media in general, like looks really, really bitter to me right now. Like it seems like everybody on social media in general is like kind of bitter. Like I don't know if that's indicative
Indicative?
of the things I choose to like and watch or whatever. But, like people seem really bitter, man.
Because they haven't woken up to the idea they're not perfect. They're bitter because every day they're going, why wasn't I perfect? You're not, but you are great. Wake up to your greatness. Set down your perfection. Wake up to the idea that I'm not going to get it perfect. I'm practicing at this. I'm at school. I'm learning calculus here. Some days, man, you go over the formulas over and over again and they don't stick in. But that doesn't mean you don't try to learn calculus again tomorrow. Guess what? You're back at school today. You'll be back at school tomorrow. Wake up. Pay attention to class. Learn what you can. That's all. It's all you got. I'm sorry.
Yep.
That's it. I just gave you life in a
That's
nutshell.
all we got. I think that's
all there is
that's
lesson.
all we got today. You know?
Wake up to it.
Wake up.
Wake up to the possibilities. We love you all.
Wake up.
Wake up. No, shake up.
I'm gonna make a song that's just gonna be wake up, and it's gonna be me screaming to wake up.
No, there's a song already. There's a wake up.
Wake up.
No.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. It's gonna be like a hard beat. It's gonna be
but
wake up.
Wake up to not beating yourself up. Wake up to okay, I can work on that.
Don't beat yourself up. Just wake up.
Right. There's no value in all the time and energy spent beating yourself up. That's not how you learn calculus. Not. Go back and look at the formulas again. It's okay.
Very true.
That's what I mean by wake up to your potential. Your potential isn't, oh my God, I'm perfect. It's, oh my God, I'm spaghetti. Where's my wall?
That's cool.
Like that. Oh my God, you're spaghetti. Where's my wall? Type at the bottom of the screen. I missed the other. No, I gotta figure out some way to get conversations going though. And I can't do it both.
What do you mean? In the universal song, huh?
No,